am from a defense background, and my father always used to tell me that courage, confidence, and conviction in yourself are your biggest weapons. And I always used to feel the abundance of these three things in me, probably because of my army background. And these things probably helped me to keep these negative thoughts under cover, to keep these negative thoughts in control, and always think about positive things, what can happen.
This is episode number 3 of the Midlife Station podcast with first generation entrepreneur Shyam Sunder Singh. Welcome, guys. This is Rupesh Nahar, the host of the Midlife Station, a podcast where we bring in experts as well as interesting stories of people who have achieved success during their midlife so that we all can take some inspiration out of it. Dear friends, welcome to another episode of the Midlife Station. I am super pumped up today to interview our guest, Shyam Sunder Singh. Shyam is a first generation entrepreneur and a dynamic leader with a track record of outstanding performance in retail and pharmaceutical industry. He is a visionary leader who believes that differentiation is the mantra of success in the 21st century. He is considered as an authority in the pharma industry, delivers keynote addresses at major events, and is regularly featured in leading newspapers and pharma business magazines like PharmaBiz and Express Pharma. After being in job for 12 plus years, Shyam decided to take a plunge in the entrepreneurship journey in his late 30s and founded Septalist Life Sciences. The company today is one of the fastest growing company in the nephrology segment in India. On this episode, we talk about how he pulled himself back after facing rejection from the prestigious Indian Army due to his unique medical condition. How did he went about building his company during the late 30s? What are lessons he learned along the way? And a lot more. Before we jump in, I would request you to please subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or any other podcasting platform you listen to. And you can also connect with us on our Instagram handle @ the Midlife Station. Now, without much further ado, let me welcome our guest for today, Shyam Sunder Singh. Hey Shyam, welcome to the show. I'm quite pumped up today to have you with us. Thanks a lot for coming in.
Thanks, Rupesh. Thanks for having me here.
Pleasure is all mine, Shyam. So Shyam, I want to go back to those days when you were growing up and wanted to know, were there any specific dreams or aspiration you had during that time? Maybe having something of your own one day or anything else that used to occupy your mind?
Rupesh, I come from a very humble background. Father was in defense services, and my mother was an affectionate homemaker. And I'm basically from city of the Taj, Agra. I completed my basic education from Kendriya Vidyalaya and my graduation in life sciences from Agra University. Since my childhood, since my father was in defense services, I was crazy after joining armed forces. And after two unsuccessful attempts, I finally was selected as assistant commandant in BSF, Border Security Force. But later on, I was rejected on medical grounds because I had this rare medical abnormality in my knees, which is called as knock knees. So when I came back from that interview, my brother showed me call letter of a prestigious MBA institute, IMS Devi Ahilya University, Indore. And I said to myself, probably God has some other plans for me and He wants me to pursue MBA.
And I'm sure, Shyam, that might be quite a challenging time for you. Not getting selected on something that you had always been dreaming about is really quite disheartening. So, Shyam, how did you pull yourself out from this tough phase?
To be very frank, I was totally disappointed, depressed, and dejected. And when I came back, and when my brother showed me a letter in his hand, he said there is a call letter from an MBA institute. That time I tried to console myself by saying it appears that God has some other plans for me and He wants me to pursue MBA. Yeah, because from my childhood I just had one dream of joining armed forces. I was thinking of nothing else.
Agreed. Yeah. So when you did your MBA, sales
Mhm.
and marketing, did it come a bit natural to you, or why did you thought of doing the MBA in sales and marketing?
The moment I stepped into MBA, my dreams changed. I wanted to join armed forces, but I could not. And when I joined MBA, I decided that now from here a new journey has started, and someday I will start my own business. And to my understanding, for running any business, sales and marketing are very important aspects. All other aspects can be outsourced, can be learned, can be given to somebody else. But sales and marketing, in my opinion, are very important functions for running any business. And therefore, my specialization automatically was marketing.
So I see your job profile. You were in quite high profile jobs where you were at a very high position.
Mhm.
I wanted to understand your journey when you started in your job and how did you progress from there on. Can you share your journey with
Yes,
us?
sure. So my professional career of 12 years was very successful and it was an illustrious career. My first job was as a management trainee in an Ahmedabad-based pharmaceutical company called Claris Life Sciences Limited. I worked there for 7 years, and in these 7 years, I rose from a management trainee to business development manager to regional manager to zonal manager and sales manager. And after that, I moved to retail when I joined Future Group and I was handling their big bazaar operations. There was a new business initiative taken by Big Bazaar at that time, and that was, I'm talking of 2004, and they had started this initiative of home delivery business, which was quite new at that time, and I was handling that business for Big Bazaar. As a professional, three things are very important, in my opinion. One is sincerity in you towards your work, loyalty towards your organization, and hard work. This I learned from my family that if you want to succeed in life, sincerity, loyalty, and hard work are the three basic fundamental qualities which you should have. And throughout my professional career, I relied on these three basic qualities. I worked hard, I worked with sincerity, and with 100% loyalty towards the organization. In fact, sometimes when I work now in my own organization, I don't feel a difference that whether at that time I was working for that company or was there a difference in my working. So that kind of ownership I used to exhibit when working for any company or during this professional career of 12 years. And probably these are the qualities which any company would like to have in their employees.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So during the job phase, were there any specific challenges which you faced, which were very difficult, and how did you navigate through those challenges?
During my first 7 years in Claris, I was into business development or sales function, and I was quite good at it. There were definitely some phases where your performance is not up to the mark, and there are some phases where you are excelling in your performance. But rather than that, there was not much of a challenge I faced when I was working for Claris. But looking at when I joined Future Group in retail, it was a totally new segment for me. It was a totally new business for me, and there were a lot of things to learn. At the same time, it was a pressure of a new job, a new industry. From pharma, you move to retail, and from a sales function, you move to an operation function. So it was a 180-degree change in the profile. It was a change in industry, it was a change in the business function you were working. So it involved a lot of learning, and at the same time, since you are in a new company, in a new job, you have to perform also. So that was the biggest challenge I feel I faced when I switched from pharma to retail. But at the same time, that was the phase when I learned the most. I learned every nitty gritties of retail business, of retail operations, of logistic operations. Probably those 1.5 years were the biggest learning phase of my life, and at the same time, most challenging phase of my life.
Right. Because transitioning from your pharma domain to the retail domain, and that also to operations, why that shift? Was it that any specific reason where you wanted to try a different industry or you had inclination towards retail? Why that shift happened?
As I shared with you, since the time I started MBA, I had a plan of starting my own business. So I wanted to have exposure to different businesses and different business functions, because only then you will have an holistic approach towards business. Second reason was retail was new to India, and it was attracting lot of talents from other industries with versatile approach towards business, and retail was a high paying segment. So that was the second reason I moved to retail. One was of the learning, which was the most important criteria, and second was at the same time I was being paid almost double of what I was being paid in pharma industry. So because of these two reasons, I switched to retail industry at that time.
During this job phase, since you were at a high profile job where you were leading zones and regions, I'm sure it would be very
Yes.
stressful for you. How did you manage your stress?
See, Rupesh, stress is part of our life, and for me, I've been regular with exercises, meditation, and running. So these are the three things which I do very regularly, very frequently. I am a passionate runner. I run marathons, which is a big stress booster for me. I am regular with meditation and exercises. So all these at physical level and mental level I do on regular basis to keep myself stress free. Now the second angle is managing your family when you are going through a stressed phase, when you are going through a phase where you have to devote extra hours in work, where you have to travel maybe 15 to 20 days in a month. So at that time, it is always better to sit with your family and make them understand that this phase is like this. It is going to be a tough phase for you where you will have to devote extra time to work. You will have to tour maybe 7 to 8 days extra in a month. So please bear with me for these 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and after that things will become normal. And I'm lucky to have a very supportive family in that aspect. So with support of family and with my regular healthy lifestyle, I was able to cope up with these pressure and stress situations quite in a positive way.
Basically, you are saying taking care of yourself, whereby through meditation or running or whatever someone is
Hmm.
inclined towards, plus maintaining that communication at your personal end with your
Yes,
family and friends so that they are also in line, and that gives you a pleasant environment to work towards your goal, right?
absolutely. And one more thing I missed is that I always believe in work hard and party harder. So it is again a great way to relax and unwind after a tough day or a week or a month.
Wonderful thought. So I think you were in your job for around 12 years. So I'm very much curious to understand
Yes.
that after you were in your job, somewhere in late 30s, you decided to
Hmm.
move or transition to starting your own company, becoming an entrepreneur. So during that time
Yeah.
specifically, what was
Mhm.
going through your mind that convinced you this is the right time to quit the job?
As I shared with you that business was always there on my mind. Now I spent almost a decade to learn the art of doing business and learning the tricks of the trade. Basically, I devoted 10 to 12 years of my life in learning and getting this confidence that yes, I'll be able to handle and manage my own business. And once I got that confidence, I jumped into business. So that was the whole idea. And therefore, I said I changed different industry, I changed business functions. Later on, I also moved to finance function where I was handling payments and cash flow management also. So I delved into different aspects, different functions of business. And when I got the confidence that I have understood the business holistically from every angle, and now I will be able to successfully handle and run my own business. And that opportune time came probably after 12 years of my professional career, and I decided to take a plunge into my entrepreneurial venture.
Right. So when you say you thought or you were confident that you are now prepared, so what all I understand you
Hmm.
targeted sales and marketing because that comes natural to you through MBA. Then you were in the operational
Hmm.
job through Big Bazaar or Future Group, and then
Yeah.
you also gain
Hmm.
exposure to financial portion of it, the cash flow management. How does that
Yeah.
work out, right? And people management anyways come naturally
Yeah.
when you are in your job and you had some regions and stuff like that, right? So any apart from these four, any
Absolutely.
other aspects which you feel someone should be aware of before they move on to entrepreneurship, or how do they prepare better, if you can throw some light on it?
The one more angle was that I have very clear understanding, and probably it's a fact that no company in this world can sustain you for more than 6 months. When you are working for any company, it cannot sustain you for more than 6 months, which means that after 6 months, you have to earn your own salary. You have to create that much output for the organization that they pay their salary from that output. So, in my 12 years of career, if I have been able to earn my own salary, what is that which will stop me if I start my own business? I definitely will be able to earn my own salary after 6 months. So that was the confidence I had because of this experience of 12 years. In these 12 years, I have been a performer all throughout. I have been giving outstanding output to the organization. I have been adding tremendous value to the organization that they are happily paying my salary. So there is no way by which I won't be able to replicate the same success formula or the same success performance in my own company. That was the second thought process which gave me confidence that yes, this will work. I will be able to sail through easily.
And at any point of time when you were making this decision, did one thought came to your mind, hey, what if it doesn't work? Because it was a big risk you were taking, leaving your comfortable job, which was paying you salary, which was giving you comfortable life, everything was good, and you were in your late 30s. During that time, it's a bit difficult to change your natural way of working. So did any time this thought trigger your mind, what if it doesn't work out?
If I'll say no, I'll be lying. So definitely such thoughts used to come up on and off. But as I told you, I am from a defense background, and my father always used to tell me that courage, confidence, and conviction in yourself are your biggest weapons. And I always used to feel the abundance of these three things in me, probably because of my army background. And these things probably helped me to keep these negative thoughts under cover, to keep these negative thoughts in control, and always think about positive things, what can happen. Probably during this phase, these two books also helped me a lot. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho and The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. These two books are amazing books. They have got amazing power to transform your life. And especially this quote from Paulo Coelho is my favorite, that if you want something with all your heart, the whole universe conspires in helping you to achieve your dreams. So all these things gave me enough confidence that I was able to keep these negative thoughts under control and was able to move forward with my decision.
I think it gives a different perspective to people who are in a similar situation currently and want to venture out. I think positive mindset, which you have mentioned here, there is a key to take you forward, right? And when you were just trying to transition out, how did you convince your family? Was it very easy, or how was the family reaction to this decision?
I find myself lucky in those aspects because my family was very supportive in my decision. When I said that I wanted to do something like this, there were few questions, but once my family was sure that I am determined to do this and I have made up my mind, they all were behind me. They all stood like a wall behind me that you don't worry, you move ahead, we are there with you and we will support you. You go ahead and try to achieve your dream, try to achieve your passion. Go ahead. So in that aspect, I'm quite lucky, I must say.
So now moving to your phase when you, from an employee, became an employer. So you started a company.
Hmm.
The foundation was laid out during your phase when you were an
Yeah.
employee, or after you quit your job. That's when you decided, okay, I would try to start my company in this domain, and this is what my initial thought process is.
Rupesh, it was going on parallelly, I would say. The thought process was there since I did my MBA. So the thought was always there. Now the right time has come. So I started conceptualizing the business. Since I had experience of retail industry and pharma industry, I decided to move ahead with pharma industry for a simple fact that I loved working in pharma more than retail. So I decided with pharma industry. I created a concept of business. I shared with my colleagues and friends from pharma industry, and most of them liked the concept and they were willing to join me, and probably there my confidence increased 10 times, and it gives me a lot of confidence that yes, now we can take a plunge and we can jump in the water.
Okay, so before we go to the journey of how you built your company and took it to greater heights, what does your company do?
My company Septalis Life Sciences Private Limited is a pharmaceutical company based out of Mumbai, and we are into two super specialty divisions, that is nephrology, which deals with products related to kidney diseases, and neurology, that is products related to brain and psychological disorders. We have pan India operations with a team of 300 people at this point of time.
Okay, and why you chose these two specialties? Did you already had some background earlier, or that these two things are very close to your heart?
Yeah, yeah. My first job, Claris Life Sciences, or the first 7 years of my career, I spent in nephrology, that is products related to kidney diseases. So I had exposure of all India. I know the entire market, the kind of products which were running well, the kind of new inventions which were happening, the latent demand of the market. So I had in-depth knowledge of the nephrology market as such, and that was probably the reason why we started with nephrology. In 2016, we started our second division, that is neurology, because both are chronic segments, and distribution wise, operation wise, both the divisions work quite similarly, and that was the logic of launching neurology after nephrology.
Right. Just for the benefit of the listeners, if you can just take a minute to explain when you say nephrology and neurology, while you said nephrology is
Mhm.
to do with some kidney diseases, can you just explain a bit more?
Kidney plays very important role in our body of filtering the blood, filtering the nitrogenous wastes from the blood. Urea, creatinine, and uric acid. These are toxic nitrogenous wastes which are produced in the body, and kidney do this unique role of filtering these nitrogenous wastes from the blood. So once kidney fails, then these toxics start accumulating in the body, and every treatment of kidney failure or diseases related to kidney are aimed at removing these toxic waste from the body. Other than that, kidney also performs several other functions for the body, like reducing blood pressure. It helps in calcium absorption. It releases certain hormones for the body, which is good for the metabolism and all that. So this is related to kidney. When I come to brain and psychological disorders, I think it is self-explanatory that especially in cities, there is a lot of problem related to stress, anxiety, tension, and these all leads to psychological disorders like schizophrenia, split disorders, and all that. And the typical neurological disorders like Alzheimer's, Parkinson, epilepsy are typical neurological problems, which are basically age related mostly. When you cross 50, 55, you generally fall prey to these neurological disorders.
Thanks, Shyam, for giving us some insights around your industry. Now, you started your business. Can you share us your journey on how did you went about building your company?
The first step, as I already said, was deciding what to do and knowing that now you are ready. So after 12 years of my professional career, I somehow got this confidence that now I'm ready. I have handled different functions. I have holistic view, holistic understanding of the business, and probably now I am in a position to start and successfully run my own business. And this happened in 2010. Now, which business to venture into was, there were two options, retail and pharmaceutical. And I said that pharmaceutical, I decided pharma business because I loved working in pharma more than I used to work in retail. So that was the second logic of selecting pharma business. And then the third, what in pharma business? My exposure of 7 years was in nephrology, that is products related to kidney and its uh, kidney diseases and kidney failure. So we selected nephrology as a segment where we will start our business. Then the fourth step is I formed a concept. What would be this business? How many people? What kind of products? And I created a business prototype and I shared with some of my friends and colleagues from pharma industry with an objective that they join hands with me. And luckily it happened. They all loved the concept. They all accepted, and they were sold on the idea that yes, this can be done, and the business looks very prospective and can easily succeed if we move forward in this direction, what Sham is saying. And we all came together and we started this venture in October 2010. That is how it all started.
From your business concept, okay, now this is the business model, this is what I want to do. So, what were the things which you did which helped you gain success in this business?
For any business, there are two very critical elements. One is product and second is team. As I shared with you that products, we were very sure what kind of products we want to launch, because we had in-depth understanding of the market, and we have in-depth understanding of the customers, we have in-depth understanding of the distribution channels, we have in-depth understanding of the every nitty-gritties of the business. So products, we were very sure. The channel we have to follow is, we were very clear. Third, team, as I shared with you, initial discussion only, we got some very good team members who were ready to join us. While selecting team members, there were two criterias. Integrity and attitude was the most important criteria while selecting any team member. Third comes the ability. Integrity, attitude, and ability. These three criteria we looked for in every candidate before selecting him. These criteria holds true even today, and we have been very successful with this criteria. So slowly and gradually we started building team. We started with 4 states initially, and then in the phase 2 we increased it to 15 states, and today we have presence in almost all states across India. In nephrology, in neurology, which we started in 2016, today we have presence in 16 states. So it was a slow and gradual process. We launched small areas, started generating business there, and then moved to next phase of territories, and slowly and gradually we started building team. Now we are in a stage where people from all across pharma industry, whether you are working with Reddy's or in Bexy, whether you're working for Abbott or Alchem, everyone is approaching us, and they know that this is the company to look for, this is the fast growing company, and this is going to be the future of pharma industry.
Lovely, exciting, very exciting. And these products which you chose, these products, do you manufacture them or how is it?
We have Rupesh, manufacturing as of now we have outsourced, and pharma industry generally runs on this concept of outsourcing the manufacturing concept. So we have tie up with 4 or 5 world class manufacturers, and we have entered into agreement with them for next 10 to 15 years that they will ensure that there is no shortage of the products, and we will get 100% world class quality. Based on these two agreements, based on these two commitments, we have tied up with 5 6 very good manufacturers. And since manufacturing has not been our domain strength, our core strength has always been sales and marketing. So in the initial phases we have focused on sales and marketing only. Now we are entering into the phase where we have already finalized land for setting up our own plant, and probably in next 3 to 4 years we will be having our own full-fledged manufacturing plant.
And for now, for these products, you only focus on their research and development while outsourcing the manufacturing piece, or it's more about letting them know these are the products that are available in the market and you want them to get manufactured so that you mainly focus on doing the sales and marketing and shipping them across India for your customers. How is your business model like?
This is 75-25, I would say. 75% products are common, which everyone else is also having, and we are saying it, we want this combinations also. But 25% of the products are R&D based products. But those 25 products of ours, they contribute to 80% of our sales. So it is exactly what basically Pareto principle is 100% applicable here. The 25% of the products which are our R&D based products, which are unique products, which no one else is having, contribute to 80% of our sales. The remaining 75% of the products we have in our basket, but they are just for completing the range. They are just to show that we have these products in our basket as well.
Got it.
But major thrust of the business and major contribution is from these 25% products which are R&D based, where our R&D is involved, where our focus and stakes are very high.
Understood. So, in your journey as an entrepreneur, I'm sure you might have faced some setbacks.
Mhm.
Can you share how was your attitude towards those setbacks and what were your learnings from them?
There are two things which I would like to tell. One is the initial 2 years were very tough. In our entrepreneurial journey, the first 2 years were really tough. Whatever targets we had set for ourselves, they all went haywire. We planned that we will be achieving break even in 12 months. It took almost 24 months for us to achieve break even. We thought market would be easier, will treat us better, but market was tougher and it treated us very shrewdly, I would say. So the initial 24 months were very tough. They were full of challenges, adversities, and lot of learnings. And but as I said, the biggest weapons were courage, confidence, and conviction in those phases. My role as a leader was to instill these three elements in my team and ensure that they don't get demotivated at any point of time.
Now, at any point of time during this journey, you felt, let's stop all this, go back to the life earlier which you had. Did that thought came to your mind?
No, this idea never crossed my mind once we have started. Before we started, on and off, this idea used to come that what if this did not work? So, is it better to stay wherever you are? This idea always on and off used to come to my mind before I took a plunge. But once we started, probably we didn't get time to think about it, ki whether we should go back or not. Then we were in the game, we were playing and throughout busy. Initial phases, I used to work almost 14 hours a day. I used to travel almost 20 days in a month. So there was no time for such ideas to come to your mind.
So it seems sometimes having no time is also good.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And then I understand you said the business achieved a break even in 2 years, but then how long did it took for you to achieve same level of income which you used to generate when you were in your job?
2.5 years. At the same time, I was prepared also in terms of financial backup. I had sufficient financial backup with me
Okay.
before I plunged into it.
So I think it's a good learning
Yeah.
that whoever wants to venture out at any stage of their career, especially in their midlife, they should have some backup to
Hmm.
start with and take that risk because taking action is key.
Definitely.
Right, right.
Yes, yes.
So now I think after so many years of working hard, your company has achieved a lot of awards and accolades in the industry. Do you want to share some of those?
Yeah, I mean, today I am MD and CEO of a company with two divisions, with more than 85 brands and a team of 300 people with pan India operations. We are ranked amongst top 8 players in Indian nephrology segment, and this year itself we got the award for the fastest growing company in neurology segment at the Times Healthcare and Leadership Award. So of late, life has been quite in a good flow. We are growing at a rapid pace, and probably I should say sky is the limit for us now because R&D also is at full pace. Well, team is well established. We are known in the market for good quality products, and we have a long standing of 10 years, which is the biggest strength of us uh, in terms of market standing. So I will say that now onwards, our growth will be multifold, and probably we'll be growing at more than 100% YoY from here onwards.
Oh, that's amazing. And I understand you are also a people's man and you exhibit a lot of leadership in those aspects as well. You also take your team to international destinations every year, is it?
Yeah, so that is part of team building exercise, team motivation. All the performers, we take them for international destinations every year for 4 days. So basically, it has double benefits, or it is the first one is the performers are getting recognition and reward. That is one, and second, it attracts people from the industry to join Septalist. Yeah, this is the company who is taking care of their people, who is taking care of their performers. So it has really worked very well, and we are able to get very good manpower during last 3 4 years because of these activities. Of course, we are a people's company. We take very good care of our people in terms of everything, in terms of working relations, in terms of respect, recognition, and behavior with all our people. And that is why probably we are having a very good team. Everyone feel that Septilis is not a company but their family. Today almost 80% of our recruitment happens through employee reference, and probably this is the biggest testimony to this fact that every employee of company, they love the company, they feel that they own this company and they can do anything for this company.
And I think it happens only because if you have a good leadership which can take company to greater heights, at the same time devote all the attention which an employee would need because they give time for the company, and if they get something in return on the emotional front, I think that's what they are looking out for. So this brings us to the last segment of our show, which I call it as a quick fire round. We'll
Yes.
throw some bullets at you and you would need to answer them in around a minute. So are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so first question: what is the daily ritual or routine you follow that keeps you ahead of the game?
First is when I get up in the morning, I practice gratitude. I thank God for whatever good things are happening with me, whatever good things I have achieved in my life, and probably that set the momentum for the whole day. That gratitude creates a very positive vibration inside. That since everything is happening good and I'm thanking God, probably the whole day also will go in a very positive phase. Second, I practice meditation every day in the morning for 15 minutes. And probably these two things I feel keep me in positive frame of mind. I will not say whether they are keeping ahead in the game or not, but yes, they are keeping me in very positive frame of mind.
Second is, who is the famous personality whom you follow the most and why?
There are many personalities I follow, but there are two, three people whom I generally admire a lot. The first one is our current Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. His dedication, his commitment towards the country, his capacity to work hard incessantly in spite of all odds, and the meteoric rise he has taken. I mean, he was a tea seller, son of a tea seller from a very small and very, very mediocre background. And today he is the prime minister of the largest democracy of the world. So he's a source of lot of inspiration and motivation for everyone, not only in India, but across the world. But definitely he is a great inspiration for every Indian that if you have the right fundamentals, if you are ready to work hard, if you have patience, perseverance, and persistence, then in a country like India, you can do anything. Anything is possible if you are ready to work hard for it. The second is Mr. Narayan Murthy, and he started from scratch. When he founded his company Infosys, he had to sell ornaments of his wife, and from there he built an organization so great that the entire world gives example of Infosys. And again, honesty, sincerity, and hard work are the three words. I think he is synonymous with these three words: honesty, sincerity, and hard work, Mr. Narayan Murthy. And third is our big B, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. I love his movies. I love the way he is gracing, he is aging with grace. I love his communication skills. I love his voice. I love his acting. And the way I've heard he's the most punctual person in the entire Bollywood. And the way he carries himself, the way he speaks, the responsibility with which he carries himself is creating a lot of respect for him in my heart. So these three people I follow very regularly.
Okay. And last question is, what is that one piece of advice you would like to give to people who are in their 30s or 40s and are struggling today?
The advice I would like to give to people who are in 30s and who want to make big in life is you should really know what you want in life, because I have seen most people are running behind somebody else. Everyone is living someone else's dream. Someone else, he's following somebody else, but no one knows what is their inner calling, what is their passion. So I would advise everyone to at least read these books: Alchemist by Paulo Coelho and Rhonda Byrne. Probably these books will help you to discover your dreams, to discover your passion. And once you have found your passion, probably you can do anything, because then the patience, perseverance, and persistence will automatically come to you, because you are following your heart, you are following your inner feeling. And always remember that dreams does not become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. So be ready for it.
That's an
Yes.
amazing thought, Sham. And what's better than this thought while we end our conversation today? It was amazing having you with us today, Sham. Thanks a lot for sharing your journey and inspiring many of us. Thanks a lot for coming in today.
Thanks, Rupesh. I really enjoyed the discussion, and I hoped it will solve the purpose of, maybe people will take some learning out of it. So I'll find this discussion to be really worthwhile if somebody can get even one inspiration out of it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sham. Thanks a lot, friends, for listening on to today's show. So, my key takeaways from the show today were: 1. If you face rejection, it's not the end of the world. It just means God has something different planned for you. So, go out and try something different instead of getting frustrated with rejection. Second, courage, confidence, and conviction are your biggest weapon. Using them, you can fight whatever problems that may come in your way, be it in your midlife or at any other juncture. Third, dreams don't become reality through magic. It takes a lot of sweat, determination, and hard work. Now, the question is, are you ready to put in that hard work and live a life that you always wanted to? That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed listening to the show. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or any other podcasting platform you listen to. Also, do share the podcast with your friends and your loved ones through any of your favorite social media channels like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and others. You can access the show notes by visiting at midlifestation.com/Shyam. I will see you back with another show and another guest. Until then, please go ahead and take those small actions towards the betterment of your midlife.